Good evening and welcome to the final. I don't know if you can hear me or not. It would be traditional and suitable for the final show of the year. We have a major technical disaster, and we had one at the start of the program. I don't know whether you'll notice this on Channel 31, because this is the beauty of going pre-recorded on Channel 31, is that we can fix it in post. But there is no post on our YouTube channel, which, let's face it, after tonight is the only way that you're going to see In Pit Lane next year or things like it in the future. More of that a little bit later on. Yes, it is the end of an era. 20 years we've been doing the show, well, very similar to this, 16 of them here on Channel 31, and a little bit later on we're going to have just a few memories. We're not going to wallow in nostalgia, but joining us a little bit later will be a person who has been with us for pretty much the entire time. You know him very well as the dangerously talented Mr. Philip Taylor. He'll be joining us a little bit later on in the program. And also, we've got some great music coming up. Coco is her name. She's a fabulous singer, coming up at the end of the program, and more on that later as well. But look, I think I can't say it was a big weekend in motorsport. I've been saying, for all these years I've been saying it's a big weekend in motorsport, and I do it out of habit. And really this weekend, if I did it, I'd be lying to you. It was a moderate weekend of motorsport, but there was some good stuff locally down at Phillip Island. Let's tell you all about it. As for the last time we say, this is the In Pit Lane Motorsport News.
4, 3.
Do they have... Well, the Victorian circuit racing scene has had its traditional end-of-season send-off with Island Magic at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. Like most end-of-term parties, it was mostly all fun and games, but there was also a bit of bad behaviour that kept officials busy and spectators waiting. Wrong?
Wrong.
Do we want to just start all over again?
Do you want Alonso? It's up to you.
We might as well. I mean, we got sound now.
Crash involving Kane Rose and Steve McLaughlin. When racing resumed, it lasted only one more lap as the Porsche of Michael and Dave Stillwell hit the wall at Southern Loop. When the race resumed, it was an all-Audi affair out front as the R8 of Daniel Studdart and Richard Muscat took the lead, with a similar car of Gary Higgin and Daniel Gaunt close behind.
Yeah, look, we've made an executive decision for those people watching on the YouTube channel, which is like all of you at the moment, because this isn't going to air on Channel 31. Christ, no. No, we're going to start here. We obviously had a few technical problems last program, and look, I'll be brutally honest with you. We've been drinking. We're very, very drunk. That probably comes as no surprise to you at all, because let's face it, we're usually very, very drunk. But tonight, because it's our last show, we're exceedingly pissed. So what we're going to do is we're going to start again. So just keep watching on YouTube. We're just going to watch again. Phil is going to rewind the auto cue back to the start of the news, and I'm going to say something else. So when they're ready, we're ready. You ready, Phil?
They're going to go.
By the way, it's
Yep.
Grand Prox.
Yeah, Grand Prox. Oh, yes, yes. Okay.
15 seconds
Yep.
to VT. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2.
To the people watching live on YouTube, it's our little secret, all right? Now to everybody else, welcome to it is the end of an era, yes, after 20 years of doing this program on traditional broadcast television, 16 of them here on Channel 31. This is the final edition of In Pit Lane on Channel 31, free to air across Melbourne and Geelong every week. So if you're watching for the first time, you've missed 16 years of great entertainment. Don't you feel cheated now? Don't blame me, blame Malcolm Turnbull. He's the bastard who's made this all possible. Now, coming up a little bit later on the show, we've got some great music coming up. Coco is going to be joining us, Melbourne singer-songwriter, fabulous entertainer, and she'll be joining us a little bit later on in the program. Also, as it is our final show, we're not going to wallow in nostalgia or anything, but I thought it was well worth having a bit of a look back on some of the things we've done over the years, a few stories, and joining us a little bit later to help me in that reminiscing will be someone who's been with us on this program basically since we came to Channel 31, and that is the dangerously talented, fabulous Phil Taylor, and he'll be joining us in a moment. But look, it wasn't a huge week of motorsport. It was a moderate weekend of motorsport, but if we don't talk about it, well, we'll have bugger all to talk about. So let's just go to the In Pit Lane Motorsport News. In a galaxy far, far away, the Victorian circuit racing scene had its traditional end-of-season send-off with Island Magic at the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. Like most end-of-term parties, it was mostly fun and games, but there was also a little bit of bad behaviour that kept the officials busy and spectators waiting.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Clarkson and I've got some...
A chaotic race in the Victorian Tourist Trophy as the annual one-hour enduro stretched out to almost 90 minutes. The safety car got in almost as many laps as the competitors, and the race was suspended at one stage due to fence repairs following a big crash involving Kane Rose and Steve McLaughlin. When racing resumed, it lasted only one more lap as the Porsche of Michael and Dave Stillwell hit the wall at Southern Loop. When the race resumed, it was an all-Audi affair out front as the R8 of Daniel Studdart and Richard Muscat took the lead, with a similar car of Gary Higgin and Daniel Gaunt close behind. With only 2 laps remaining, the KFC car grabbed the lead with a pass under brakes at the hairpin before going on to take the win, with Nick Kelly bringing home his Audi in third for a 1-2-3 finish for the German marque. The field in the Formula Ford final was far more well behaved, and it was Will Brown who just managed to hold off Cooper Murray and Leanne Tander in a close finish. Tander's third place in the final was enough to secure her the 2016 National Series Championship. An even closer race in Formula V as Heath Collinson held on in a thriller to lead home Michael Kinsella and Matthew Holmes. The first 9 cars were covered by less than 1 second at the finish. An impressive turnout of historic touring cars, with the Camaro of Dean Neville dominating the weekend, from Harry Barguana's Mustang and the very fast Tirana GTR XU1 of Craig Allen. Treacherous conditions at the start of the annual Ramada Resort 50k plate for sports sedans. As the lights went out, the heavens opened, and with the whole field on slicks, it was a miracle that there wasn't total chaos. Victorian champion Ian Cowley led early, but as the conditions got worse, it was Tasmanian Bruce Banks that seemed right at home as he took the lead from Alex Williams, both in Mazda RX-7s. Rainmeister Damien Johnson was in his element with the 6-cylinder XU1 chasing down the more powerful V8 supercar of Gary Collins. Williams' race ended just 2 laps from home, leaving Dickey in third and moving Michael Robertson into fourth, just ahead of Hills Hyundai. The conditions improved quickly, but Banks held on to take the trophy back to Tasmania. By far the largest fields at the island, though, were the improved production cars for their 2016 Nationals. So large, in fact, that for the first time in memory, the field for the final was split into over and under 2 litres. The under 2 litre class was an all-Honda affair, with the New South Wales pair of Graham Cox leading home Bob Jowett, both in Civics. David Walden broke up the Honda party, taking third place in his Mazda RX-3. In the main event, the question was, could anybody beat Ray Hislop in the mighty Falcon? The answer was no. The fight for second, though, was an absolute thriller, with Ben Schutt's RX-7 fighting it out with the Monaro of Matt Cherry, Damien Milano in the Commodore and Justin Keys in his Mazda 808. Cherry and Schutz regularly swapped places, but a last corner move by Schutz saw the Mazda win the battle for the best of the rest, just ahead of Cherry and Keys. And an added bonus for fans at Island Magic as Tim Macro gave the new Formula Thunder 5000 its local on-track public debut. The car only did a handful of demo laps, but the speed was most impressive, and so was the sound. The only question remaining is just how many people will now turn their apparent enthusiasm for the new class into actual orders.
Yeah, certainly did sound good and went very fast. Well, this might be the final episode of In Pit Lane on C31 Melbourne, but that doesn't mean that our year is over. Oh, good, no, heaven forbid, far from it. RMA TV, Student Television and In Pit Lane are delighted to announce that for the third year running, we shall be live streaming the Australasian Formula SAE competition from Melbourne's Calder Park on December 9th to the 11th. And thanks to the support of RMIT University, the 2016 event will be bigger and better than ever. The action starts Friday, December the 9th with the design and static competitions, which will feature on a special edition of In Pit Lane live from Calder Park at 3:30pm Melbourne time. Saturday will kick off with live coverage of the acceleration test and skid pan before moving on to the main circuit for autocross. Then Sunday it's the enduro before live coverage of the awards presentation. This year's production will be the biggest ever and represents the most challenging live production that RMITV Student Television has ever done, with close to 20 hours of live production. Formula SAE, or Formula Student as it's known elsewhere, is an international engineering and design competition featuring universities from all over the world. This year, the Australian competition features teams from Australia and New Zealand, as well as teams from India, Pakistan, Malaysia, Japan and Poland. Full details will be announced closer to the event, but to make sure you don't miss 1 second of the action, make sure you subscribe to the In Pit Lane YouTube channel. It's free. Well, a special guest at this year's Formula SAE will be legendary Formula 1 aerodynamicist Willem Todt. Todt served as the head of aerodynamics with Benetton, Ferrari, BAR Honda and Sauber, and this Monday, December the 5th, Todt will be giving a guest lecture and presentation at Monash University. In the lecture, Todt will explain some of the challenges teams face when designing a new car. He talks about the ways that business needs and politics sometimes get in the way of what should purely be an engineering challenge, and also gives examples of how individuals can make a difference to the performance of a team. He'll also highlight the pathways for young Australian engineering students who wish to reach the top echelons of motorsport. The lecture is free and open to everybody, but please RSVP via the Monash Motorsport Facebook page. Also, there's a link on the In Pit Lane Facebook page as well. It'll be well worth going along. You're watching In Pit Lane, The Final Insult, and we'll have more news including Formula 1 and supercars when we come back, but do stay tuned anyway. We'll be right back. Roll back a fraction there on the, we've lost the first line, just telling Phil to wind back. There we are. Yes, if you're watching us via YouTube now, on live or on record, and you haven't subscribed to the, haven't subscribed yet, please click on the subscribe button. Look, even if you'll never ever watch the program again, just subscribe anyway, because apparently it's important. I don't know why there's this algorithms or some nonsense like that, but anyway, whatever it is, it's really important that you do subscribe, and that way, whenever we have new material coming up, and when we announce the times and the dates and all of the places for the live stream, we'll have that on as well. You'll be informed when we go live via your phone or via email or however you wish to be notified. Okay, so are we ready to come back for Channel 31?
Are we ready to come back? 15 seconds.
Okay, 15 seconds. By the way, you might be wondering about the T-shirt.
9.
I'm wearing a T-shirt. It's a Channel 31 T-shirt.
6,
More of that later.
5, 4, 3,
Welcome back to In Pit Lane. Well, Australia awoke from a blissful slumber. Oh, hang on. No, I know what I wanted to say now. I wanted to plug the website first. That's what I needed to do. If you're watching on Channel 31, the next time you watch us again will be online. So, yes, if you would like to contact us, or if you'd like to keep in contact with us here and to continue watching the programs that we have next year, we've got a lot of new programs, a lot of things that we'll talk about in just a moment. But the best way to do that is to subscribe to our YouTube channel or contact us in one of the following ways. That was there we go. You can email us at the show at inpitlane.com. Also, you can, if you want to talk about sponsorship, advertise at inpitlane.com is another way you can contact us. There is, of course, the In Pit Lane website, which is going to get a major overhaul over the summer. The YouTube channel is very important. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Google as well, and even though it is not up there, we're on Instagram as well. I have no idea why we're on Instagram. I don't even know what Instagram is. It's something, it's sort of like Twitter with photos, but then Twitter has photos. I don't understand. I'm not of that generation. I'm sorry, I'm a dinosaur. And now, more news. Well, Australia awoke from a blissful slumber last Monday morning to the news that the world had a new Formula 1 champion. Nico Rosberg hung on to the win despite a second place to his teammate and close personal friend Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton might have won the race, but apparently he didn't win too many friends.
It was a dominant performance by Hamilton, who led from lights to flag to win the Grand Prix of Abu Dhabi. But it was Hamilton's tactics that caused the most comments after the race, as he defied direct team orders to pick up the pace. Hamilton was slow to try and drive his teammate and championship rival back into the grasp of third-place man Sebastian Vettel. It didn't work though, and Rosberg's second place was enough to give him the 2016 title, to become the first second-generation champion since Damon Hill in 1996. The German celebrated with some donuts as a disgruntled and petulant Hamilton returned to accept his trophy and face up to an angry team management. Vettel said after the race that he felt Hamilton had played dirty tricks on his teammate. Of course, he'd never do something like that. Multi-21, Seb. Multi-21.
And Supercars has its own inter-team championship battle this weekend as they head to Sydney for the final ever Sydney Street Race. Red Bull teammates Shane van Gisbergen and Jamie Whincup will fight it out, with both drivers having plenty of good form around the much unloved Sydney Street circuit. Between them, the pair have won the last 8 races in a row. A win to Van Gisbergen and cap off a pretty good year, which has already seen him crowned with a Blancpain Endurance Series title. Should he win, he'll become the first New Zealand-born driver since Jim Richards back in 1991 to win the title. Well, with the end of community television in Australia on New Year's Day, our illustrious and much-loved leader, His Supreme Eminence Lord Turnbull of the Cayman Islands, has decreed that all those that follow will be led into the Promised Land, and the Promised Land is online. Like traditional print media, television as we know it is changing. So now the future of niche market sports like grassroots motor racing will be on the internet, just like porn. In Pit Lane will continue with an expanded range of shows and features online, including live special events, including live race coverage. And you can find us almost anywhere, of course, on the In Pit Lane YouTube channel at inpitlane.com, rmitv.org, and coming soon to Drive Tribe. What is Drive Tribe? Well, here's a recently dismissed British public servant to tell you all about it.
I'm Jeremy Clarkson and I've got something in my eye. But that's not important right now. What is important is that you know all about the Grand Tour, the show that James, Richard and I are doing for Amazon Prime. Well, this isn't that. This is something else we're doing. This is Drive Tribe.
Yes, In Pit Lane is coming to Drive Tribe. In fact, well, it's already there. There's not much up. There's only one thing up there at the moment, quite frankly, because we've got to. That's what we're getting. Now, something else we're going to spend our summer doing is uploading stuff to Drive Tribe, and we'll see how that takes off later on next year. But that was, in fact, launched today, and there is now an app and all the other things associated with it. Well, as I said, this is our final episode of In Pit Lane on free-to-air, Channel 31, and since we came here 16 years ago from Optus Vision, we sort of arrived in the studio, and there was a garden gnome sitting in the corner, and he sort of has been here ever since. You may know him online as the dangerously talented Philip Taylor, but we just know him as Phil, wake up. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Philip Taylor. Phil, wake up. There we are. Now, I just sort of worked out, the reason I wanted to have you on is, one, that you've been with us for a long time. You've been with us, I think you've actually done more episodes of this show, or you've been here for more episodes of the show than I've actually done.
Yeah, but I wasn't awake for them.
No, neither was I, quite frankly. And the
Yeah.
audience were absolutely comatose for most of the last 16 years.
Nobody's on the auto cue right now.
I
don't know what to say.
No, well, it is a problem. I mean, we didn't have to pull this stuff off out of our arse, basically.
I can do that.
As long as you
I've
pull it
done
out of your
that
own arse.
on the YouTube channel.
On the
for
YouTube channel.
1,000 videos, so I'm completely comfortable with that.
Now, you know this YouTube stuff. I mean, this is the thing. We're talking to people at Phillip Island on the weekend. We are entering into uncharted territory with this whole online thing. It's been, obviously this is the future, but what people don't understand, what in terms they say, Channel 31's moving online, is Channel 31 is community television.
Yeah.
And as we said, what part of the words community and television don't they understand? YouTube is neither community nor is it television. It's definitely not television. What do you see? What's the difference?
Television is basically within the geographic location, and that's it. That's the only thing that everybody in Melbourne has in common, is the district around Melbourne.
And the box in the corner.
And the little box in the corner. Whereas online, you can build up individual communities, like the motorsport community, like with Drive Tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got all of these independent communities that are independent of geography and everything else. All they care about is motorsport.
Yeah, and that's which is a good thing in a way.
And you don't have to watch all the other things,
things, fishing
floristry
programs,
and
yes. I like a bit of
football.
floristry though. Yes. Floristry and football. There's a concept for next year. The Floristry and Football Show.
It's called the Brownlow Medals.
I like it. Or perhaps the Brownlow Petals. Look, just quickly. Well, no, look, rather than just say quickly, come back after the break, because Peter is down there doing that. And you know what that means. He's doing that. So, while you have a duel with Pete there, I'll just say you're watching In Pit Lane. We're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we'll have what is going to be the final ever segment on In Pit Lane on Channel 31. Don't go away. Phil and I will be back in just a moment. Oh, you didn't. Phil has just informed me that for the second week in a row he has not put the name of the single, and I don't know what the single is. So we'll have to. Can you remove that? When I dismiss you from this place, when I dismiss you, boy, could you just take that whole thing where it says she has a new single called? Can you take the word she has a new single called? Because otherwise I'm going to say she has a new single called I have no idea. And people are going to go onto YouTube or iTunes and start looking for a song called I Have No Idea. And if they're really, really lucky, if you find a song called I Have No Idea by Coco on YouTube, consider yourself very lucky. Buy a Tats ticket or a lottery ticket, wherever you are in Australia or around the world. Buy a ticket in something because you're very lucky. Because as far as I know, she doesn't have a song called I Have No Idea. But then again, I have no idea. Now, so we're going to come back and... we are coming back. We're coming back together very briefly. And then we shall do whatever it is that we do before we say goodbye to everybody.
Okay. 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go. Welcome back to the final episode of it. Just as well as the final episode. It's been a long year. It's been a long 16 years. Oh my God, it's been so long. But we've enjoyed every moment. Phil, what are your memory? What's your main memory of In Pit Lane?
I remember when Sam Newman came in. And,
Oh, how can we ever forget? And you were on camera.
I was on camera.
Yeah, tell them the story.
Well, he comes in. He's sort of walking sideways.
He was relaxed.
He
Let's
was
just say he
very
was
relaxed.
relaxed. He was about a bottle of spirits worth of relaxed,
yes,
I think.
yeah, and he's wearing these shorts, these baggy shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what I saw, but if you see the tape of that show, you can see me tracking the camera sideways, ever so slowly, so the director wouldn't cut away during the, because it's Sam Newman and stuff. Anyway, I'm tracking sideways because I think I can see a little bit of upshorting that nobody wants to see.
Nobody indeed wants to see that. I don't know why. We're going to wind up already. We've only been back for about 2 seconds.
One mention of Sam Newman's
genitalia, and that's it. Phil, can you take that microphone? I see the microphone you've got there. Can you take that off and go back to the auto cue so that I can introduce our musical guest? There we go. So are you winding me up, Pete, because we've just had enough of Phil, or because we're actually out of time? We're actually out of time. Okay, look, once again, I have a very, very long list of thank yous to people out there, and I'm not going to have time to do everybody and everything. Phil, if you could just go back to the auto cue, thank you very much for when I need it in a moment. Look, I've just got to say thank you to everybody who's made this program possible over the past 16 years here at Channel 31 Melbourne. I don't want to forget anybody I forget just there, but I just want to say thank you. Stuart Fairweather, if you're at home, Stuart was with us for many, many years, our director. He was always there, and one way or another, he's still there in emergencies and stood by. So thank you to Stuart. Also to Richard Outram. Richard's been a great friend as well. Thanks to Richard. I've met him through the program. Lots of the people who've been with us a long time. Darren, who's sitting over there in camera 3 at the moment. Darren is the backbone of RMI TV. If you've ever watched a program on Channel 31 and you've enjoyed it, believe it or not, Darren has had something to do with it. So thank you to Darren. Peter is sitting there going like that. Peter does that very, very well. And he does it to me every week. I don't know, he's going to get really, really bored because he's not going to be able to do that. He's going to be, if you see a man out in the street with rattling a cup going like that, that'll be Peter. Because that's sort of, that's his main skill now. Going like that and going... But he's not doing that now. He's going like that. We got there. Look, I think Christian, who was in the... Christian, thank you very much. Chris Ritchie, thank you very much to you guys as well. All our newsreaders. Carolina, she's running around New York enjoying herself. Our musical director, Lisa James. If you've enjoyed the music, and you will enjoy tonight as well, thank you to Lisa. And Lisa's mum, I hope you're feeling better. Lisa's had to rush off because her mum is not feeling well. And thank you to her as well. I've got to say, James Gormley, all of the people here in the studio, I've got to say thank you to you people as well. Channel RMI TV management. Also, I've got to say a special thanks, and I've written this down, to Richard Catchlove, David Floyd, Terry Southall, Gary Grant, and Eugenia Rocker, and Alan Evans. Thank you for your support when we wouldn't have made it through 16 years without your support for various things over the years, and you know why, and thank you very much. Look, thank you very much. I've been blessed to have done this show over the 16 years here on Channel 31. Thank you to the staff at Channel 31 and everybody for making this possible. I've had amazing experiences. I've stood on the starting grid at Le Mans. I've walked on the banked ovals at Montleray. Most of all, I met the best friend that I've ever had. And I knew this would be difficult, but we've had some great adventures and we're going to have a lot more. So from all of us here, that's all we have time for In Pit Lane tonight. We've loved bringing you music over the past few years, and to take us out tonight, our final musical guest on In Pit Lane is Coco. You can get her music on iTunes or Google Music, and you can see her right around Melbourne. She's playing around. You'll see that on her Facebook page as well. So until we see you next year in the glorious online digital afterlife, from everybody here at In Pit Lane, thank you and good night.
You took a step towards me. You said, come on and trust me. But now I see the light. The day is clear. You're trying. Take a look at me now. I'm moving on without you. Oh, flying around, I'm taking you down. It's clear that you'll drown, you're dying. You'll stare at the ground, and up on your own, you won't have me around. I'm crying, I'm not holding your hand. You left me on my own. I'm flying. He's broken glass around me. My heart will melt. It's easy. Can't think it all suits me. Take back the pain and leave me. Just take a look at me now. I'm moving on. Without you, what's flying around? I'm taking you down. It's clear that you'll drown. You're dying. You'll stare at the ground. You'll end up on your own. You won't have me around. I'm crying. I'm not holding your hand. You left me on my own. I'm flying. Ooh, ooh. Move out of the way and free me. Hands tied in the back, can't be me. Move out of the frame and free me. Hands tied in the back, can't be me. Hands out of the way and free me. Hands tied in the back, can't be me. Move out of the frame and free me. Hands tied in the back, can't be me. Move out of the way and free me. Can't be me. Ooh, ooh, yeah. Take a look at me now. I'm moving on without you. What's flying around? I'm taking you down. It's clear that you'll drown. You're dying. You'll stare at the ground. You'll end up on your own. You won't have me around. I'm crying. Won't hold in your hand. You left me on my own. I'm flying. I'm flying.